Morning, guys. Morning. Yeah, I know it's early in the morning. I just wanted to talk about PTSD actually. Strangely enough, um, what made me think about this is the incident that happened yesterday. I'll just show you what happened to my window. So basically, what happened was I was driving down the motorway. Uh, there was a lorry in the middle lane. I was trying to overtake, and basically a rock fell off of the lorry. It was like a round boulder type rock. When it bounced, it hit the floor. It went about 20 feet in the air, 16, 20 feet in the air, and I saw it coming down. Obviously, at that speed, I'm going at around 65 miles an hour, so I didn't have no choice but to carry on going straight into it, or for it to go straight into me. Luckily, obviously, I seen it. At the time, I was more annoyed than anything. It was only, later on in the day when you talk to people, say, "Oh, that's lucky, could have. It's a good job you seen it and whatnot." And it just made me think about, on my way to work today, I was a bit more cautious when I was, when a lorry would come by, or when I was overtaking a lorry. I was a little bit more on the cautious side. So it just made me think about, the post-traumatic stress disorder, because I've also had post-traumatic stress disorder before. It's nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, post-traumatic stress disorder, I'm going to say, is a perfectly natural thing to happen. If you find yourself in an unnatural situation, or a traumatic situation, post-traumatic stress disorder is actually very natural. The reason why it's natural is because your brain is obviously going to tell you to avert danger. Just like naturally you're not going to try and pick up a venomous snake or something like that, because your body's going to tell you that's dangerous. Do you understand what I'm saying? So post-traumatic stress disorder is just your body trying to tell you, don't put yourself in that situation again. And sometimes it might be not be a situation that you can control. It might just be that you was driving down the road and somebody smashed into your car. Somebody smashed into your car, or whatever it may be. You don't have no control of that. So now when you're driving your car down the road, you're going to feel a little bit more anxious as to, if people are going to hit me, you're going to be a little bit more aware. But that's a totally natural thing. When I had post-traumatic stress disorder, I wasn't actually sure that I had post-traumatic stress disorder. It wasn't until years later that I realized I had post-traumatic stress disorder. If you understand what I'm saying, at the time, I'll tell you what happened basically. It was like 2011, and somebody was stabbed like very badly with a large knife, and it left a hole in their chest about this big. I was the only person who was helping at the scene, and I stayed calm. I wasn't panicking. I was relaxed. I even managed to calm the patient down, calm the guy down or whatever. And basically, I saw inside of his body, I saw what I thought at the time was his heart, because he said he'd been stabbed in the heart, which I later found out was his lung, what I saw. But at the time I thought, wow, this is like, I was just totally calm. But it was only when the ambulance and the police arrived and they took over the scene, my whole body was just shaking. I was like literally like this. I could not control it. I don't know what was happening to me. It was like, that was shock. Yeah, that was shock setting in. And I still didn't want to accept that, something is going to come from this. So I was just like, no, there's no problems with me. I'm just probably in shock or whatever. All right, it's cool. But it played on me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, even when I saw people with knives just randomly even going to a friend's house if they're cooking, it made me a little bit more cautious. So over the years, I started to realize that actually at that time I was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it was only when I started to talk about this situation, because I never spoke about it, I never really talked about it with anybody, and it was only like a few when was it, a few years ago, I actually started talking about the situation. And when I started explaining what happened, I actually felt like how I felt after when the paramedics arrived. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even just explaining the story was hard for me to get it out. It wasn't just coming out of my mouth like how it is now. I was like, I could feel the anxiety of me wanting to explain this story, because it was almost putting me back in that same place. And I ended up breaking down into tears. Do you understand what I'm saying? It was only then that I realized, wow, I had post-traumatic stress disorder for that last 5 years, and I never even thought about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it was only when I talked about the situation that it kind of made me open my eyes up to how I'd been feeling. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's totally natural. Like, now I'm talking about it, I don't feel any anxiety. I don't feel any, I don't feel any of the feelings that I was feeling when I first talked about it, or when it first happened. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think post-traumatic stress disorder is definitely a real thing, and it's definitely something what's very natural. If you don't have post-traumatic stress disorder and you've been through a traumatic experience, then I'd say there's probably something wrong with you. Do you understand? Your brain's probably not working right, because your body's not going to tell you, or your brain's not going to tell you to avert that situation next time. Do you understand what I'm saying? So post-traumatic stress disorder is nothing to be ashamed of. It's perfectly natural. It's a natural response to something traumatic that happens. So, we all at some points of our life have probably had post-traumatic stress disorder. Whether it be from witnessing something, whether it be from being assaulted or being smashed into, whatever it may be. Do you understand what I'm saying? We've all been through some traumatic times in our life. Or if you haven't, then God willing, you don't have to go through traumatic times, but it's a natural thing. It's probably bound to happen to most of us in our life. Some one or two bad things is going to happen, or we're going to witness one or two bad things in our life. So what I would say is, if something traumatic does happen to you, and I'd say to talk about it as much as you can, because the more you talk about it, the more you're going to normalize the situation, and you're going to understand that, okay, maybe sometimes it does happen, but it's not something that's going to, that should stop you from living your life. Because I know a lot of people with post-traumatic stress disorder, they find it hard to go out of their house. They find it hard to do all of these things. I never found it hard to do these things, but what I did find hard was, the thoughts that would go through my head when I would see someone holding a knife, even if it was just an innocent situation in a restaurant or something like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it was bringing up thoughts. It was bringing up, memories in backdated memories, what I should say, subdued memories, or repressed feelings that I was feeling at the time. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think post-traumatic stress disorder is definitely real. But if you have gone through post-traumatic stress disorder, or if you are suffering with post-traumatic stress disorder at the moment, then I would say the best thing is to just talk about it. Find somebody to talk to. If you can't find nobody to talk to, just leave a comment here. Explain your problems here, and we'll talk about it. I'll talk about it with you. We can talk about it together, because we've all had traumatic times and we've all had stressful times, and sometimes you just need to let it out and realize that bad things do happen, and it's not just, you can't stop some things. I couldn't stop that rock from hitting my window. That's what made me think about this whole situation. I could not stop that rock. I saw it coming. You know, thank God the window was strong enough to hold it. But I mean, look, it almost went through. And if it had gone through, then that would have been aiming for me. At the angle it was coming, it would have hit me in either my face or my upper chest, my heart, or something like that. And at that speed, who knows what could have happened? But it never. So I don't have to think about what could have happened, what should have happened, and what didn't happen, because I only need to think about what did happen. My window was smashed. I'm safe. That's all that matters. Do you understand what I'm saying? So as long as though you made it out of that traumatic experience and you're still alive, what don't kill you makes you stronger. You know that saying? I live by that saying, because so many times I've felt like, you know, this is the end for me, man. What more can happen? Like, I've been through so much things that, you know, I'm not even going to say that I thought about committing suicide, because at the end of the day, I know that, or not I know, I believe that committing suicide would be a sin. You know, God don't want me to end my life. He put me here for a reason. I believe he put me here for a reason. Who knows what that reason is? Maybe that reason is to tell you lot about my post-traumatic stress disorder, so that it can help you with your post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't know, but I'm here now, and I do believe in God. So I believe that, you know, I should respect my life, but I have been through some situations what have made me think, you know, ooh, look at that bus there driving at 60 miles an hour. That wouldn't be hard to just step in front of it, you know what I mean, and end your life like that. But no, because what's that gonna achieve? That's not gonna show anything. It's not gonna get you out of the situation what you're facing. The only thing that can get you out of the situation that you're facing is yourself. You know, you have to find the strength, and if you can't find the strength, then ask people to help you find the strength, you know, to cope with whatever you're going through. I know we all got tough times. You know, there's some people I've had on my Facebook. They haven't got no money. They ain't got a job. They don't have anything to support their family or anything like that. You know, they're going through real desperate times. You know, so, but at the end of the day, you gotta try to just persevere. Perseverance, innit? That's it. Like, life is hard. Like, some of us are not born into rich families where we can just ask mommy and daddy for whatever we want. Some of us are born into poverty. Some of us are born into normal families where, you know, maybe we can afford certain things, but we can't afford other things. And the things that we can afford, we have to work hard for. You know, we don't just get given them. It's savings and this and that. So life is hard, and you know, that's all I can say really. Life is hard, but you got to deal with it. This week I've had a flat tire on the motorway, which, you know, lost me half a day's work. I've now got a broken windscreen, which I'm not sure if anybody's actually going to pay for it or if it's going to have to be me. Tomorrow I have to go to court for no insurance, which I did have insurance. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's lots of situations that are not controllable by ourselves. So sometimes a higher power takes control of things. Do you know what I mean? So you just have to put your faith in the Most High. That's it. Anyway, listen, I'm gonna get to work today and try and earn some money for the money that I've been losing and will be losing. I'm spending more money on my van. So I hope that this video has been useful to any of you. Leave a comment. Like I said, leave a comment if you're going through some stressful times and you ain't got no one to talk to. Just leave a comment here. Just leave a comment. We'll talk about it. All right? Anyway, I'm gone.